Hello everyone, in the last class we have discussed what is a chemical reaction, and today we see the types of chemical reactions. Types of chemical reactions. So the chemical reactions are mainly classified into four types. One is direct combination reactions. Direct combination reactions. Second one is decomposition reactions. Decomposition reaction. Third one is simple displacement reaction. Simple displacement reaction. Fourth one is double decomposition reaction. Double decomposition, or we can call it as double displacement reaction. Double displacement reaction. So the first one is direct combination reaction. Let's see what is this direct combination reaction. So in this direct combination reaction, two or more substances, say for example I have two substances A and B. I'm taking two substances A and B. These two will react with each other, and if the result is only one product, you're getting only one product as a result, so then this type of reaction is called direct combination reaction. For example, if you take H2 plus Cl2, so I'm taking hydrogen and chlorine. So these two are gases and two different gases. When these two react with each other, the product will be hydrogen chloride. So you're getting only one product. You're getting only one product. So in this case, hydrogen and chlorine combine and they form hydrogen chloride. And if you take another example, sulfur dioxide plus water, it gives H2SO3. This is sulfurous acid. So in this case also, two substances or two compounds, sulfur dioxide and water, these two will react with each other or they combine with each other and forms only one product. So here in this direct combination reaction, the product will be only one. So that is called a direct combination reaction. And let's see another example. So carbon monoxide plus oxygen will give us carbon dioxide. So even here you get only one product. So it is also an example of direct combination reaction. And so in this direct combination reaction, so the reactants can be element plus element, like in this case, or it can be compound plus compound, like in this case, or it can be compound plus element, like in this case. And if the direct combination reaction involves the combination of elements, like element plus element, like in this case, then this combination reaction is also called synthesis reaction. All combination reactions, we cannot call them as synthesis reactions, but the combination reaction in which two elements combine to form a product, that is called a direct combination reaction. So two elements combine to form one compound. So in that case, we can call it as a synthesis reaction. Now let's see the second type of reaction, that is decomposition reaction. So what is decomposition reaction? Number two, decomposition reaction. So we can say this decomposition reaction is reverse of combination reaction. So in this decomposition reaction, one compound splits into two or more substances. One compound will split into two or more substances. Then it is called a decomposition reaction. So let's see an example. If I take copper carbonate CuCO3 and when you heat this copper carbonate, I'm taking only one compound, one substance, right? So this one copper carbonate will decompose to give copper oxide and CO2. So this compound will break into this two substances, that is copper oxide and carbon dioxide. So this is called a decomposition reaction. And if you take lead nitrate, PbNO3 whole twice, on heating, it gives lead oxide plus NO2 plus O2. And of course we need to balance the equation 2, 2 and 4. Now look at this. I'm taking only one compound, that is lead nitrate, and on heating this lead nitrate, I'm getting three substances. 1, 2, 3. Three substances as a product. Okay, so you'll get three products in this case: lead oxide, nitrogen dioxide and oxygen. So only one compound is splitting into three different substances. So this is called a decomposition reaction. So decomposition reaction in which one compound splits into two or more substances. Let's see the conditions required for this decomposition reaction. Okay, so the first condition required for this decomposition reaction is heat. So you need to heat the substance to decompose. Say for example, just now I have taken copper carbonate. You have to heat this. This copper carbonate has to be heated to decompose into copper oxide and carbon dioxide. And such type of decomposition reactions are called thermal decomposition reactions. Thermal decomposition reactions. So the decomposition which takes place on heating, so that is called a thermal decomposition reaction. And let's see some thermal decomposition of some metallic compounds or metallic salts. We can classify the thermal decomposition of metallic compounds based on their activity series of the metals. So we all know that activity series of metals, that is potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, lead, hydrogen, mercury and silver. So these are the metals which are arranged in the decreasing order of their reactivity, and we can classify these metals into three groups. Copper will be there into three groups, and we can discuss the thermal decomposition of their compounds like carbonates, hydroxides and nitrates. So let's see how these carbonates, hydroxides and nitrates undergo decomposition when they are heated. So let's take the first group, that is potassium and sodium. So if you take potassium carbonate, K2CO3, potassium carbonate is K2CO3. Let's see whether it undergoes thermal decomposition or no, means decomposition on heating. So let's heat this potassium carbonate, but this potassium carbonate does not undergo thermal decomposition because potassium is a highly electropositive metal and its compound will be highly stable. The compound of potassium will be highly stable. Similarly, potassium and sodium belongs to same group, right? So that's why even sodium carbonate also does not undergo thermal decomposition. So on heating they will be inert. So this is about the carbonates of potassium and sodium. So let's see the hydroxides. So first one is potassium. If you take potassium hydroxide and if you heat this, if you heat potassium hydroxide. So now again, the potassium hydroxide is also highly stable. It is also highly stable compound, so no reaction, so no chemical change when you heat potassium hydroxide. Similarly, potassium sodium belong to same group, so sodium hydroxide also does not undergo thermal decomposition. Okay, so this is about potassium and sodium carbonates and hydroxides. Then what about these nitrates? What about this nitrates? If you take nitrates of these two, let's take potassium nitrate, KNO3. Okay, so now this KNO3, potassium nitrate, on heating will undergo partial decomposition. In the sense, this is a nitrate, potassium nitrate, and it will give you potassium nitrite. It will give you a potassium nitrite. So KNO3 becomes KNO2, and it will also give us oxygen. Okay, so oxygen gas will be released, and to balance 2 here and 2 here, right? And similarly, since potassium and sodium belong to the same group, right? So sodium nitrate, if you take sodium nitrate, similar reaction will take place on heating. It will give us NaNO2 plus O2 to balance the equation 2 and 2 here. Okay, so when you take carbonates and hydroxides of potassium and sodium, they are highly stable and they do not undergo any decomposition. Whereas if you take potassium and sodium nitrates, they will give these products on partial decomposition. Then let's see the decomposition of the compounds of metals from calcium to copper, the second group. Since calcium and remaining metals from calcium to copper, they all belong to the same group, so they will undergo similar decomposition reactions. Okay, let's see the carbonates of these metals. If you take calcium carbonate, CaCO3, okay, so if you take any metal from calcium to copper, any metal carbonate on heating will give you the respective metal oxide plus carbon dioxide. Since it is a carbonate, you will get carbon dioxide gas. Let's take this calcium carbonate and heat it. So when you heat this calcium carbonate, so what are the products you are going to get here? Metal oxide. So what is the metal here? Calcium. So you will get the oxide of calcium. Formula of calcium oxide is CaO. Plus, along with that, you will get carbon dioxide, CO2. Right? And take any other metal. If you take magnesium carbonate, MgCO3, on heating, so again what will you get? You will get a metal oxide. What is the metal here? Magnesium. So magnesium oxide you will get. Formula of magnesium oxide is MgO plus carbon dioxide, CO2 you will get. Okay, and if you take any other metal like aluminium, if you take aluminium carbonate, Al2CO3 whole thrice, and on heating it will give you the metal oxide. What is the metal here? Aluminium is the metal, so you will get aluminium oxide, Al2O3 plus carbon dioxide. Of course you need to balance this equation, so to balance the equation you have to write 3 over there. So now it is balanced. Okay, so let's take copper. So copper carbonate on heating, it will give us metal oxide. What is the metal here? Copper. So we will get copper oxide plus carbon dioxide. Okay, so this is how the carbonates of the metals from calcium to copper undergo thermal decomposition. Okay, so this is about the carbonates of the metals from calcium to copper. So let's see the hydroxides of these metals. Hydroxides of these metals from calcium to copper. So I'm taking hydroxides. So now you can take any metal from calcium to copper and its hydroxide on heating, Here also you will get metal oxide, but here you will get H2O, water. Since it is a hydroxide, you will get water. So let's see an example. If you take calcium hydroxide, CaOH twice, and on heating, so what are you going to obtain here? Metal oxide. What is the metal here? Calcium is the metal. So you will get calcium oxide plus, what will you get? It is a hydroxide, so you will get water, H2O. Okay, and take any other metal like aluminium and its hydroxide, aluminium hydroxide, AlOH thrice, and heat it. So what are you going to get? You are going to obtain metal oxide, so it will be Al2O3. Aluminium oxide is Al2O3 plus you will get H2O. You will obtain H2O. And take any other metal, like if you take copper hydroxide, CuOH twice, and heat it, so you will get metal oxide. What is the metal? Copper. So copper oxide plus water is the common product, so you will get water. Okay, so this is the decomposition of hydroxides of the metals from calcium to copper. So let's see the nitrates. So if you take nitrates here, so here you will get the same metal oxide, and along with that, since it is a nitrate, you will get NO2 plus oxygen. So you are going to get two gases over here, NO2 and O2, along with this metal oxide. So let's take this calcium nitrate, CaNO3 whole twice. Now on heating this calcium nitrate, so metal oxide, what is the metal? Calcium. So you will get calcium oxide plus nitrogen dioxide plus oxygen. So these are the products you got. Now take any other metal, like if you take zinc nitrate, ZnNO3 whole twice, on heating, so what will you get? Metal oxide you will get. So what is the metal here? Zinc is the metal. So zinc oxide plus NO2 plus O2. Okay, and you can take lead nitrate, PbNO3 whole twice, on heating, it will give you lead oxide plus NO2 plus O2. And if you take copper nitrate, CuNO3 whole twice, on heating, it gives copper oxide plus NO2 plus O2. And if you see these reactions, in all these reactions, NO2 is the common product. And whenever NO2 is released, nitrogen dioxide gas is released, so you will see its reddish brown vapors of nitrogen dioxide. So that will be the observation for these reactions. And when you have this zinc oxide as a product in thermal decomposition, so this zinc oxide appears in yellow color when it is hot, but it becomes white when it is cold. Okay, and this lead oxide will be yellow color. Okay, whether it is hot or cold, it will be yellow color only, so it will be a solid. So zinc oxide also a solid, and copper oxide is a black solid. It is a black solid. So these are very important for observation based questions. These are very important for observation based questions, right? So this is the decomposition of the metals from calcium to copper, hydroxides, carbonates and nitrates. Okay, so this is for these metals from calcium to copper. So now what is left? We are left with only two other metals. They are mercury and silver. So if you take mercury carbonate, so from these two carbonates you will get metal. Okay, the product will be metal, and since it is a carbonate, you will get carbon dioxide and along with that you will get oxide also. Since you are taking mercury carbonate, so what are you going to get? Metal. What is the metal here? Mercury plus CO2, carbon dioxide plus O2. Okay, of course it has to be balanced. 2, 2 and 2 are here. Okay, so this is about the carbonates. Now let's take hydroxides of these two. So these hydroxides, mercury hydroxide and silver hydroxide, they are rarely formed. They are rarely formed and they are unstable. So hence we don't discuss about the thermal decomposition of these two hydroxides. And coming to the nitrates, if you take nitrates of these two, for example, if you take silver nitrate, okay, so when you take nitrates, you will get the products like this: metal, NO2 and oxygen. For these for these nitrates, for silver and mercury nitrate, you will get these as the product: the metal, nitrogen dioxide and oxygen. So now what is the metal here? Silver. So silver plus NO2 plus O2. If you balance the equation, 2, 2, 2 here. So like this, these compounds will undergo thermal decomposition. Okay, so this is about the thermal decomposition. So decomposition which takes place on heating, and some decompositions or some compounds will decompose when electricity is passed through them. So such type of decompositions are called electrolytic decomposition reactions. Electrolytic decomposition reactions. For example, water can be electrolyzed, means if you send or if you pass electricity through water, it decomposes to give hydrogen and oxygen. So this is also an example of decomposition where water splits into hydrogen and oxygen when you pass electricity through water. Of course, it should be acidified water. Okay, so when you pass electricity through acidified water, so it will give you hydrogen and oxygen as the products. And there are some reactions or some compounds which will undergo decomposition by the passage or when the compound is exposed to the light. Then such decomposition reactions are called photolytic decomposition reactions. Photolytic decomposition reaction. So generally silver compounds will be light sensitive, okay, and they can easily undergo decomposition when they are exposed to the light. Okay, so for example, if you take silver chloride, when it is exposed to the light, what happens? It decomposes to give you silver and chlorine, right? So this type of reaction is called photolytic decomposition reaction. Okay, so this is about the decomposition reaction, and we have three types of decomposition reactions. One is thermal decomposition, electrolytic decomposition and photolytic decomposition reaction. And let's see a few more decomposition reactions. If you take ammonium dichromate, NH4 whole twice Cr2O3, on heating it gives you nitrogen, Cr2O3 and H2O. Of course, to balance you need to write 4H2O there. And so this is called ammonium dichromate. Very important decomposition reaction, ammonium dichromate. So remember, this is very important reaction. So when this ammonium dichromate is heated, you will see, means there will be a very important observation. So it burns with flashes. You can see a beautiful flashes when you heat this ammonium dichromate. And after the reaction is complete, you will get this Cr2O3, which is a green color residue. Okay, so there are two important observations in this. So one, you will see flashes when the reaction is going on, and so after completion of the reaction, you will get a green residue as the product. That is nothing but chromic oxide. And there are some thermal decomposition reactions which are reversible. See, for example, if you take NH4Cl, that is ammonium chloride. This is ammonium chloride. So this ammonium chloride on heating gives you ammonia and HCl, right? So this we can call it as thermal decomposition reaction. Thermal decomposition reaction. But this reaction is a reversible reaction, means when you heat ammonium chloride, it will give you ammonia and HCl, but these two, ammonia and HCl, again they will react with each other and they will give back this ammonium chloride. So such type of reactions are called reversible reactions. They are called reversible reactions, and it is a decomposition, reversible decomposition reaction. So it is called reversible decomposition, but it takes place on heating. So it is called thermal reversible decomposition. Thermal reversible decomposition. And when it is a reversible decomposition, we can replace these two words with a single word, that is called dissociation. Okay, so this is called dissociation. So reversible decomposition can be replaced with this dissociation word, and this is thermal reversible decomposition. So it will be thermal dissociation. Okay, so this is an example of thermal dissociation, nothing but it is a reversible thermal decomposition reaction. Okay, so today we discussed about the direct combination reaction and different types of decomposition reaction. Okay, so remaining reactions we will discuss in the next class.